Hi, welcome to another episode of It's Messy, but It's So Good. Today, my guest is Dana Regan. And Dana is the founder of the Somatic Soul Coach School, which is a professional certification training where she supports coaches and leaders to incorporate somatic work into their existing professional practices. Dana is a very inspiring guest, and she shares her journey of grief, wellness, and creativity. And I want to just note that she has an amazing retreat coming up in the Azores on, I believe it's April 27th through May 3rd, 2024, and I'm certainly going to be there. She's also performing with a new theater company in Warwick, New York. So connect with her and you'll be able to purchase tickets. It'll be the Rocky Horror Show, the end of October. Okay, enjoy. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Fran.
Welcome to It's Messy, but It's So Good.
I'm so grateful to be here in the mess and in the good.
Yes, absolutely, because it is messy, but it is so good. I just want
love that title.
Yeah, it came to me in a meditation. The second part did. The first part was just from some of my mentors, talking about messy. And then I was like, And then it just came. So it was nice. I wanted to introduce the audience to you. So I'm going to read your bio. Okay.
Yes.
Dana Regan. Dana is the founder of the Somatic Soul Coach School, a professional certification training where she supports coaches and leaders to incorporate somatic work into their existing professional practices. Dana brings over 15 years of experience as a somatic leader and transformational coach. Her work has impacted the lives of thousands of people internationally, from artists to entrepreneurs to teachers to C-suite executives. Dana partners with individuals and organizations to develop internal resources that unleash their embodied potential. And when Dana's not helping folks rewire their nervous system for freedom, you can find her hiking, cooking, and spending time with her family in the Hudson Valley, where she resides with her cat, Portia, who is very cute. Her next international adventure is to the Azores, Portugal, where she's leading a somatic wellness retreat with her sister in 2024. So welcome, Dana.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Fran, for having me. I'm really just so grateful to be here, and I've known you for so long and so many different iterations. So it's really to take a moment to pause into like, who am I now, or who are we now, or what's happening now? And I'm excited for this conversation.
Yes. And that's so true, because there's so many phases of passion that we develop along the way as we learn more and more. So I'd love to ask you to share about your journey of passion in your life, from maybe even the very beginning to like where you are right now.
I love this question. So like what comes to me is I was born passionate. Just a spitfire of passion, mixed, I think, with a lot of my Puerto Rican roots that come through strong with that passion. I think about my mother and her fiery passion, talking about the origin, and then also just my father, who, a strong, passionate German Irish man, who was really passionate about basketball. But anyway, so I think that passion, right? So passion, really has led me in my life from origin to now. And in that, it really has always organized or been about creativity and being a creative artist in the world. And so, I like to say too, like I came out of the womb singing and dancing, and it was really that creative, passionate force that has, led me and guided me to initially over the first, 19 years of my life, I would say was all about the arts
Mm.
and, theater. And I was a violinist at one point.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I played the violin since I was 5 years old, um, and then all the way up into orchestra in high school and stuff. But at a certain point, I had to choose. They made me choose between do you want to play violin or do you want to be in the shows? And I was like, I don't know, but I want to be in the shows. And and then that led me on the passion journey, led me into wellness, if you will. Because I really believe that I feel most well, right? I think that that's such an interesting conversation, wellness, but I feel most well when I am sourcing from the well of my creative inspiration. And I think those things go hand in hand. And at a certain point of my journey, um, about 16 years ago already, I really went full into the yoga world, into the leadership and coaching world. And that's and spirituality. And that's really kind of where I found how complementary like the creative arts world is and the wellness, yoga, leadership, spiritual coaching world is. And it became at that point my mission to find a way to keep bridging those worlds. Um, and that led me to Naropa University, which is a Buddhist inspired university in Boulder, Colorado, where I then found somatics.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I didn't know there was a word. Soma means Greek, is Greek for body, right? So the world of somatics is body-centered work, and all of the work I was in, whether it was the singing and the dancing and the performing and the expressing, however I was expressing, I was like, oh, there's a word for this, and that's somatics, and I can go study an entire psychology around that. So then I became really passionate about somatics.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward kind of through the last 15 years, I've been supporting myself to drop into the somatic leader and artist that's within me and really having a practice, mostly from then, a private practice of clients where I was coaching them to support them in unleashing their creative inner artist, allowing that to support them to go out into the world and, live and lead from their passion and their purpose and really get to work with them, whether it would be in a one-on-one setting, a group setting. I've been leading retreats for 15 years, mainly in Costa Rica. But that it all was always and is always organized around that. The thing that's so interesting as we have this passion conversation and I'm like jogging my memory through the journey is passion is now back in my life through theater, and also through leadership and coaching and expressing. But I am going to be performing this fall in the Rocky Horror Picture Show in Hudson Valley, New York, in Warwick, New York. So this is our shameless plug here. But I just got cast as a lead role in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a professional theater company, Core Theater. And I just think it's quite interesting to be sitting in this podcast interview when all this is happening. Like I just got that phone call last week. So to actually begin to drop into, wow, passion has always been on my side.
Yeah, it's interesting knowing you for a long time. I almost see that, of course, there's different things that we focus on, right, in life at different times. But I always saw that part of you like ready to kind of explode again. But, everything is timing, right? And opportunity appears when we're open. So, knowing you for all these years and seeing you perform, I could just see how this is just such a beautiful compliment to kind of the direction that you're going in. And it kind of feeds each other. Your coaching work, your retreats, and then the theater work. It's all kind of like a circle somehow,
Yeah. I feel that. I feel, there's a way in which I'm like, wow, I really was on a mission 15 years ago to bridge those worlds. And I feel that integration in myself now, or I feel like it's integrating now. I'm like pinching myself going, is this really happening? Like, did I really, did my intention really work to bridge the worlds? And, it is so true that, it's all complementary and it's all coming together. And there's quite a bit of a surrender to the mystery of continuing to allow it to unfold.
Yeah. I look forward to that, like to see how one feeds the other and what builds from that, that's, which is all of life, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I just like sort of did the highlight reel of the journey, but holy fuck, I don't know if I can curse on this.
No, that's fine.
But like, I mean, this bridging of the worlds has been so, and just this being human and being an artist and being in a relationship with passion has been so messy because I really will acknowledge the messy part.
Yes.
I mean, it's all been a mess. And I think so much of my work has been about, how do I be in the mess of it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not lose hope or not lose, I think we can define passion or many of us look at passion as this like energy and there's an aliveness and like I have felt pretty freaking dead.
Yeah, I wanted to on that. As actually you're leading me into the next question, which is, yes, the messiness. How do you shift the messiness or acknowledge it and work through it? For you personally, what has been something you can share with the audience that might, I know you do a lot of somatic work, of course, but what personally has meant the most to you in acknowledging the messiness and then rising above and going forward?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many pieces to that. So I would say to center no mud, no lotus. Like I think Thich Nhat Hanh says that.
Yeah.
But I really think that it's been about disrupting for me our cultural conditioning that the messiness is bad.
Right.
That the messiness is, we live in a culture, I mean, particularly of the West, where it's like don't even invite a guest into your messy house. Let alone, I mean, really, let alone allow the vulnerability for your mess, in your emotional world to be seen. And we live in that culture so prevalent around, even in Instagram, right? Even in the cultures of social media, of I'm going to show you what's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what's good. So I say that because I think that the larger overarching sort of, for me, spiritual practice of getting, and somatic practice of getting to be with the mess, comes from the disrupting of all the ways that say, don't be with that, don't feel that. Your goal is to rise above it. There's that whole narrative. And I feel like over the last 15 months, I've truly just embraced. So I would say embracing is the tool. And I would say that at Somatic Soul Coach School, we speak about our number one principle, radical welcoming. And that is, hopefully a tool that the audience can take with them. And it's not a cognitive tool to welcome. It is an embodied tool. Like, how can I not turn away from myself in this mess?
Yeah.
And how can I find ways to really move with it, to let it be here, to let it be part of the soup, if you will.
Yeah.
And so my practice over the last 15 months, because over the last 15 months, I've really taken a step back from work and a pause to be in the deep, deep grief that was initiated from my father's passing a little less than 2 years ago. And it's just been the hardest practice of my life to allow myself to be really messy.
Yeah.
And I would say that that's one of the greatest tools that we can maybe invite ourselves into, is does that this too gets to belong.
Yeah.
And that's really counterintuitive. It's really counterintuitive to a culture that does not promote us to feel. Right. So as that mess rises, and however the mess is defined for you, right? Because the messiness can be the grief, can be the dishes,
Right.
right? Can be relationships, can be the deconstruction of our own identity. Like, who am I?
Right.
Like, wait, what? I
Which,
thought I was this.
yeah. And that very much is close to passion, because, when you are passionate about things, no matter what it is, you tend to just think that you need to be somewhere in that passion. And if you don't, in other words, there's a perfectionism that we have. And we put a lot of, we bully ourselves basically beat ourselves into achieving that passion. And it has to be in a certain time frame. And we have to have it all figured out, right? Opposed to being compassionate to ourselves through the process of discovering, what is it that lights us up, and how can we move through that in a way that's loving, right, to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. Like, passion, compassion, And I would say that compassion for the days that I don't feel passion, like so many months of my last, particularly these last 2 years, like I was like the who am I identity crisis or what's going on, what came a lot from I don't recognize myself when I'm not passionate.
Mhm.
And so it's a reframing of, you know, what is passion?
Right.
Because passion also in hindsight or in retrospect is like, well, those days that all I could do were, m- light a wood burning stove in the middle of a cold winter and lay on the floor and cry, or sort of numb out in some way, like um that in that quote unquote mess, that there's fertility, that it is fertile soil.
Yeah. I love that. It's holding that space for, whatever is there. And, it doesn't feel like you're loving yourself through that, but on some level, we know we are. We're being held somehow, um, from whatever your spiritual beliefs are. Um, and just being okay with that is challenging for sure, you know?
Every day I'm like, plug into all of it. Listening to podcasts, coming back to our practice, meditating, moving our body, you know, getting enough water. I mean, it's just like we're just houseplants. We're just houseplants that need love, water, attention, sunlight, and kindness.
Yeah, for sure. Kindness number one, I think. So, is there one specific, because you mentioned so many great um, ideas, but is there one specific tool that you use that maybe you can just share with the audience that they might be able to incorporate
Hmm.
into their life? And I know because you've had a school for certifying people in somatic work, maybe there's just one tool that might be helpful.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, for one thing, just to like bottom line it breathe.
Yeah.
And it's really like just please free the exhale, as one of my students from Somatic Soul Coach School, Janaya, always says, free the exhale. So it's the reminder of that, because just to speak to, like, right before I share a tool, um, in the mess, right? Our nervous system is not optimally functioning, right? We're not Our nervous system and our brain at that point in a mess or in an activated state of the mess. We're scrambling, right? Or we're fighting it, or we're freezing against it, or we're fawning, we're collapsing. So I just think that immediately, as we build, what I call ESA, embodied self-awareness, that it's being in touch with ourselves throughout the day. Maybe that's just through the breath or feeling your feet on the floor, starting your day off that way, having an alarm set at 3 p.m. so that there's a middle part of your day, and then coming at it, at the end of the night, even if it's 3 breaths, 3 breaths, 3 breaths, but it's to pause and really check in with yourself. So our signature somatic method, one of them, is called SLOW, SLOW. And the first part of the S is to slow down. So just even here, I invite the audience to take a breath in and a deep exhale, and just begin to slow it down. And then L in slow is to listen in. And so one thing that's helpful maybe is to put like a hand on your heart or soften or close your eyes, but you're listening into you. And what you're listening for is the way your sensation, right, or a color, or a pace, maybe your heartbeat. So you're getting to actually give yourself an opportunity to listen. The O is our fancy somatic term, oscillate. And so oscillation is like a fan that's oscillating one side of the room to the next, right? And so the way we practice that in somatic work is my attention. We're oscillating our attention from into our own body, into our own soma, and then out into the world, into relationship. So that as I'm moving through my day or my work, or even in this moment, I am in my body and in relationship with Fran at the same time. So I'm still holding 50% of the energy inside of me instead of just losing myself into something else.
Yeah.
So that's a oscillation. We really practice that in our relationships.
Mhm.
How do I stay with me and also be in relationship to you? And the W, which is, we always say, have you taken your vitamin W today? And the W is welcome, welcoming.
Mm.
And so that's just allowing it all to belong. Welcoming yourself, welcoming your breath, welcoming the mess, welcoming the good, the bad, the ugly, right? With, as you were saying before, without judgment.
Yeah.
So slow. I have
Very.
a cute little infographic, so I can send that to Fran, and maybe you can post it in
Mhm.
the show notes.
Mhm. That
But
would be awesome.
I love it, and that is a profound, potentially, you know, beginner for somebody, but also I think it's advanced to slow down and pay attention to ourselves, um, particularly living in a world that doesn't promote that. So I just want to say that that practice of slow can be done in 2 minutes.
Right. And the more conscious you are of it and the more you practice, having like a centering practice as a habit, the more aware you become, the more you remember to use it, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Most people don't want to do practices, I find, because they don't realize that they don't need that much time. And it has to be a priority, you know, so.
Yeah. And I work with a lot of, you know, mothers in particular and, entrepreneurs and people who are busy.
Yeah.
And, we always say that in somatics, slow equals fast, right? Like
Mhm.
we're so resistant to the slowing down, but once we do, we actually have more energy to produce.
For
Um,
sure.
we actually have more energy to respond versus react.
Yeah.
So I get to work with a lot of people where that little practice is, right when they get into their car and, they're going to pick up the kids from school and, just literally slowing down, listening in, taking a moment to oscillate, taking a moment to welcome, and then, okay, now I'm going to pick up my kid.
Yeah.
Um, and building, I think that when it comes to practice, it's building it in throughout your day.
Hmm. Little moments of presence.
Catching those moments of presence.
Yeah. Thanks, Dana, for sharing that. I think that that's such it really encompasses a lot of what we've been talking about in general. And I think it's going to be very valuable for people to just kind of even just think about, and, maybe if they just practice the S, it'll still be helpful. So we're going to kind of wrap up the interview now. And I wanted to ask you, what is your biggest gift that you have received for yourself through your journey, through your passion, through your tools, whatever area you just kind of bing on? What has been your greatest gift that you've received for yourself?
Wow. Um, I would say this coming very strongly, but grief.
Mm.
Um, because because it's been the greatest journey to know love.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm getting emotional here, but I think allying with grief, letting grief ally with you. Um, it's it's um, it's been the gift that has shifted me on a cellular level, uh,
Mhm.
and it's been the gift that um, that really keeps on giving, because I now get to know a whole new way to be with the mess of humanity, to be with the love, to be able to sit with my client in in the thing that is inevitable, which is loss
Yeah.
and love.
Mm. That's beautiful. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Fran.
So you shared a little bit about what you're up to now. Um, you're going to be doing the production of the Rocky Horror Show, which I'm definitely going to.
Yes, everybody come.
Yes.
We'll throw a link in there.
Yes, of course. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience about your services that are available to? Right. We'll put it in the show notes how to contact you. But anything else you want to share?
Yeah. So in this 15 months of pausing and grieving and really, coming out the other end, to be honest with you, of feeling a lot more alive and rejuvenated and rested, and now available to share with my from my passion. So Somatic Soul Coach School has been really in the great pause. And as we move into the fall and winter, there's going to be a few different ways to work with Somatic Soul Coach School. One is we're going to be having a group coaching program come out. We're going to bring out old school group coaching because I love it. And one of the things that has supported me so much through this journey has been just consistently getting to be in coaching containers that can hold, right, it all.
Mhm.
So we have a group coaching program coming out. So be on the lookout for that, or when we put the link, you can see that. And then the exciting announcement is that for 2024 for SSC, we have our advanced accelerated training coming back starting in January. So that's going to be open for enrollment soon. And then if anybody wants to come with us to Portugal, to the Azores, fun fact, Fran is going to be there. So you get to meet our podcaster. But we're going to the Azores April 28th to May 3rd, 2024. We have 7 spots available left, and it's going to be just an incredible trip that will invite you to welcome it all, and will invite you to drop deep into the home of your body.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So many things on the horizon. Like, I'm just like, man, I don't know. Take 15 months to rest in the deep, fertile void. Am I ever going to come back to life? And then you're like, okay, here's all
Here we are.
And it never left me. It just needed a good shavasana.
Yeah. For sure. Lots new things to learn, right? And embody. So
straight up. Thank you, Fran.
Thank you. One last thing. We will put in the show notes, but can you just share contact information if someone would like to reach out to you?
Yep. So you can go to www.somaticsoulcoachschool.com. And you can contact me through there, and I'll get your message. And you can also follow us on Instagram at Somatic Soul Coach School. But I'm pretty old school, and like, just email me at a certain point. I'll probably just give you my number. somaticsoulcoachschool.com. Okay.
And what's your email?
It's Dana at somaticsoulcoachschool.com.
Okay.
Perfect. So I know it's a mouthful there, so check out the show notes. But
yes.
But yeah, like, I'm super excited to be in this next phase and iteration of welcoming truly soul aligned folks who are really ready to what I call, like, move forward with the embodiment revolution. Truly. Because the world really needs it.
Yeah. That's an understatement.
I know. I'm like, that is the thing that I can safely say continues to be my mission. So I'm grateful to be of service to those who want to journey together.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dana, so much for coming on. It's messy, but it's so good. It's been a pleasure.
It's been such an honor. Thanks for having me, Fran.
Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay.